Stop wasting money on bad food. Eating well is cheaper. What if I told you that this cart, the one full of processed, convenient junk, is actually a massive drain on your wallet? And that this cart, packed with vibrant, healthy, whole foods, could secretly be the key to slashing your grocery bill? It sounds completely backward, doesn't it? We've all been taught to believe that eating healthy is a luxury, that it's expensive, that junk food is cheap, and if you only look at the price per calorie, that's often true. Major reports prove it. In the UK, for instance, the latest broken plate report from the Food Foundation is staggering. It shows that healthier foods are now more than twice as expensive per calorie than less healthy foods. 1,000 calories of healthy food will set you back about £8.80, while the same energy from processed foods costs just £4.30. That is a shocking gap. It's a reality that makes it incredibly hard for people to make healthy choices. But here is the question those reports Dante answer. What is the total damage at the checkout? What does the final receipt look like after you've filled your cart for the week? Today, we're putting the biggest myth in the grocery store to the test. We've done a typical weekly shop for two very different lifestyles, and the result is going to surprise you. It will challenge everything you think you know about the cost of food, and it might just change the way you shop forever. The anatomy of a normal grocery bill. All right, let's break down this first cart. This probably looks pretty familiar. This is the cart of convenience. That's what happens when you're busy, tired, and just trying to get food on the table as fast as possible. We've got the brand name sugary cereals. We have the frozen pizzas for a quick dinner. A whole variety of chip bags for snacking, cases of soda, pre-made pasta sauces loaded with sugar. Those lunchbox ready snack cakes and cookie packs. Instant noodles, frozen breaded chicken patties. The list goes on. Individually, nothing seems too crazy. A few bucks for cereal, 6 or 7 for a pizza, but it adds up, and it adds up fast. Why? Because you're not just paying for food, you're paying for convenience. You're paying for packaging. And most of all, you're paying for marketing. The processed food industry is a monster, and it spends billions convincing you that you need these specific branded products. In the UK, more than a third of all supermarket promotions are for unhealthy food and drinks. These companies are masters at making you feel like their box is the only solution to your dinner problem. But look at what you're actually getting. This frozen pizza, it's maybe 2 servings. This box of snack cakes, gone in a day or two. You're getting very little actual nutrition for your money. These foods are scientifically engineered to be hyper-palatable. They hit all the right bliss points of salt, sugar, and fat to make you crave more. They don't fill you up, they don't truly nourish you, so you find yourself wandering back to the pantry an hour later. You're always consuming, and so you're always spending. This cart feels like a deal, but it's a trap. It seems cheaper in the moment, but it costs you more in the long run, both at the checkout and, as we'll see later, in your health. So, let's say this is our shop for the week. We've got our easy breakfasts, lunches, quick dinners, and snacks. We're heading to the checkout. We'll put a pin in that total for now. Building the healthy cart, a different philosophy. Now, let's turn our attention to cart number 2. I know what you might be thinking. Oh, great. Here comes the cart of expensive organic kale and weird superfoods I can't pronounce. But look closer. There are no goji berries here. No exotic powders from a remote jungle. This is the cart of smart foundational eating. This is about buying ingredients, not just products. What do we? Jave big bag of oats. A huge bag of brown rice. We have dried lentils and beans, nutritional powerhouses that cost pennies per serving. Instead of a jar of pre-made sauce, we have canned tomatoes, an onion, and garlic. Instead of frozen breaded chicken shapes, we have a whole chicken. We've got potatoes, carrots, and celery, the holy trinity of so many hearty meals. We have seasonal fruit, whatever was on sale this week. We have eggs, a block of cheese, and a loaf of whole wheat bread. The whole philosophy is different. With the first cart, you're buying a fixed number of meals. That pizza is one dinner, period. With this cart, you're buying potential. This one whole chicken is in one meal. It's a roast chicken dinner one night. It's leftover chicken for sandwiches the next day. And then it's the carcass simmered down into a broth for a soup later in the week. That's 3, maybe 4 distinct meals from one main purchase. That bag of dried lentils, which you can find for less than $1 a pound in many stores, can be the base for a massive pot of soup. Lentil tacos, or a hearty salad that provides lunches for days. Compare that to ground beef, which often costs several times more per pound. We're talking a massive difference in cost for a quality source of protein. Yes, this cart asks for a little more thought in the kitchen, and we'll get to the strategies for that. But the key takeaway is you are getting so much more real food and so much more nutrition for your money. You are buying volume, substance, and nutrients, not air, sugar, and fancy cardboard. This is what grocery shopping used to be before we were all sold the convenience dream. You buy versatile ingredients and you turn them into meals. And as we're about to see, this classic approach isn't just better for you, it's dramatically better for your wallet. The grand reveal, the receipts, okay? The moment of truth. We took both carts through the checkout at the exact same grocery store on the same day. The 2 receipts are laid out side by side, stretching out on a table. Let's start with the cart of processed convenience foods. The final total for our junk food cart, for what generously amounts to a week of meals and snacks, came to $178.45. You can see how it happens, right? The sodas, the chips, the prepared meals, they add up. You don't feel it when you toss a $6 item in the cart, but it creates a monster of a bill. Now, for our healthy cart, the one filled with whole foods, fresh produce, and staple ingredients, the one everyone assumes is the expensive choice. The final total for our healthy cart came to $124.60. That is a difference of $53.85 in a single week. Let that sink in for a second. By choosing to buy ingredients instead of products, we saved over $50. If you did that every single week, that's more than $215 a month. Now, before you jump into the comments, let's be real. This is one experiment in one city, at one store. Prices vary wildly. A study confirmed that in a state like Hawaii, healthy food can cost 3.7 times more than unhealthy food per calorie, while in other states, the difference is smaller. So, yes, geography matters. But this isn't about these specific numbers. It's about proving a principle. The myth that a diet built on processed junk food is cheaper is, for many of us, just plain wrong. Your choices in that store have a massive impact. The why. It's more than just the price tag. That sticker price at the register is only part of the story. The real value gap between these 2 carts is even bigger than the $54 we saved. We have to talk about the hidden costs of the cheaper cart. First, let's talk about what actually fills you up. The foods in the healthier cart, the oats, lentils, vegetables, whole grains are packed with fiber and protein. These are the things that provide a slow, steady release of energy and make you feel full and satisfied for hours. The foods in the unhealthy cart are the opposite. They're low in fiber and high in refined sugars and fats, a combination that sends your blood sugar on a wild roller coaster. You get a quick spike of energy, then a crash that leaves you feeling hungry and tired an hour later. They're designed to be moreish, meaning you can eat a ton of them without ever feeling truly satisfied. So you eat the chips, then you want a cookie, then you're already thinking about the next meal. You end up eating more calories, feeling less satisfied, and often buying even more food. Second, there's the massive hidden tax on your health. Poor diets are a leading driver of chronic diseases like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. A study from researchers at Harvard and Tufts found that unhealthy diets contribute an extra $50 billion in healthcare costs in the United States every single year. Think of it like this. The few bucks you save on a frozen pizza today could be dwarfed by thousands in medical bills and lost productivity down the line. Eating well isn't an expense. It's an investment in your future self. When you look at it that way, the value of the unhealthy cart just collapses. You're paying more at the checkout for food that leaves you hungry, tired, and on a path toward expensive health problems. The healthy cart is cheaper up front, gives you more meals, keeps you full and energized, and protects your long-term health. the choice becomes crystal clear. Okay? We've busted the myth, we've shown you the receipts, but now, for the most important part, how you can actually do this. It's one thing to see these two carts side by side, but it's another thing entirely to make it your reality, week after week. If you're finding this useful and you're ready to start saving money and feeling better, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm going to walk you through the exact playbook you need to make healthy, affordable eating your new normal. We're in this together. The playbook. Practical strategies for a cheaper, healthier, life-saving, over $2,500 a year doesn't happen by accident. It happens with a plan. So let's get into the practical, no-nonsense steps you can take on your very next grocery run. Strategy 1. Meal planning is your superpower. This is it. This is the single most important habit to adopt. Going to the grocery store without a list is like driving into a city without a map you'll take. Expensive wrong turns and end up somewhere you didn't mean to be. Before you go, take 15 minutes, look at your weekly schedule. Plan your meals around what you already have and what's on sale. Is broccoli cheap this week? Plan a stir fry. By doing this, you create a precise list. You walk into a store with a mission, you buy only what you need, and you sidestep those pricey impulse buys. Strategy 2. Embrace the boring staples. The foundation of affordable eating isn't sexy. It's beans, lentils, rice, oats, and potatoes. These are the unsung heroes of the frugal kitchen. People hear beans and rice and they think boring, but that's a failure of imagination. Think of these staples as a blank canvas. Lentils can become spicy dal, hearty soup, or taco filling. Oats can be ground into flour for pancakes. Potatoes can be baked, mashed, or turned into soup. The secret is a well-stocked spice rack. Cumin, smoked paprika, chili powder, oregano. These are what bring your cheap ingredients to life. Strategy 3. The protein swap. Protein is usually the most expensive part of a meal, but it doesn't have to be. Instead of defaulting to meat, try a swap. A pound of dried lentils costs a fraction of what ground beef does, and when cooked, it can yield around 6 cups of protein-packed food. You don't have to go full vegetarian. Just try Meatless Monday. Or try stretching your meat by mixing it half and half with mushrooms or beans in a chili or meatloaf. Swapping just a couple of meat-heavy meals a week can save you hundreds, if not thousands, a year. And when you do buy meat, buy it smart. A whole chicken is almost always cheaper per pound than pre-cut pieces. A 10-minute YouTube video can teach how to break it down and save you a ton of cash. Strategy 4. Waste nothing. Every bit of food you throw away is cash in the trash. That wilted celery, that half an onion. Keep a bag in your freezer for vegetable scraps. When it's full, toss it in a pot with water to make free, flavorful veggie broth. Stale bread. Cube it, toss with oil and garlic powder, and bake for 10 minutes to make croutons. Brown bananas. Peel, freeze, and use them in smoothies. Your freezer is your best friend for locking in value. Strategy 5. Shop smart, not hard. A few simple in-store tactics can make a huge difference. First, learn to read the unit price, that little number on the shelf tag that tells you the cost per ounce or per pound. That's the only way to truly compare value. Second, look high and look low. The most expensive brand name items are placed at eye level for a reason. The cheaper store brands are usually on the top or bottom shelves. Finally, stick to the perimeter of the store where the whole foods are. Dairy, meat, and only. Venture into the middle aisles for specific items on your list. A dose of reality. Acknowledging the challenges now, I want to be very real for a minute. Showing you these two carts is a powerful picture, but I don't want to pretend this is easy for everyone. There are very real, systemic issues that make healthy eating a massive challenge. Those sobering reports from the UK are no joke. For the most deprived fifth of the population, affording a government-recommended healthy diet would mean spending 45% of their disposable income on food. For those families with kids, it's a jaw-dropping 70%. That's not a problem you can fix with a better shopping list. That's a systemic failure. In the US, as of 2023, a staggering 80 million households were food insecure. meaning they struggled to get enough food for their families. For them, the priority is just getting enough calories, period. Then there's the issue of access. Millions of people live in food deserts, where a fast food joint is on every corner, but the nearest supermarket with fresh produce is miles away. In those situations, don't ever discount frozen and canned vegetables. They are picked at peak ripeness and processed immediately, locking in their nutrients. They're often cheaper than fresh, last for months, and in many cases, are just as healthy. And finally, there's time. I get it. We are all exhausted. The siren song of a frozen pizza is that it takes zero effort. Cooking from scratch takes time. But I want to challenge you to reframe this. Cooking isn't a chore. It's a high-leverage investment. 1 hour of meal prep on a Sunday shopping veggies. Cooking a big batch of rice. Making a pot of soup buys you back hours of stress during the week. It saves you from that last-minute, expensive takeaway or the unhealthy drive-thru run. The point is this. The path to eating better for less is not one size fits, but the principles of buying whole ingredients, cooking for yourself, and minimizing waste are universal. You start where you are, with what you have. So, is eating well cheaper? The answer is complicated. But for most people, it absolutely can be. It's not about buying fancy, expensive health foods. It's about a fundamental shift in your spending away from low nutrition, branded products, and toward low-cost, high-nutrition, versatile ingredients. We prove today, with 2 carts and 2 receipts, that a typical junk food haul can be significantly more expensive than a cart overflowing with whole, nourishing foods. We've shown that the savings can add up to thousands of dollars a year. This isn't about being perfect. It's about progress. It's about taking back control from the giant food companies that have spent billions convincing you that you need their colorful boxers and crinkly bags. It's about empowering yourself with the skills to feed your family well without breaking the bank. You have more power over your grocery bill and your health than you realize. It starts not with some radical diet, but with a simple choice on your next trip to the store. I want to leave you with a question. What is your single best tip for saving money on healthy groceries? The things we talked about today are just a start. Share your wisdom in the comments below. Let's build a resource together and help each other win this battle. Thanks for watching.